Except for friends and family. Don't let them.
You're like, accept them.
And why should we be the ones that take the hit?
Hey, call these guys. They'll commit a felony for you.
They're the ones that are destined to see you fail. They're the ones that are jealous, hateful, and prideful, right?
You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Aline, the co-author of the books Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors and The Best Known Roofer. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the leading digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I sit down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you haven't already, do me a favor. There's that button that says subscribe, maybe one that says follow, leave a review, comment, depending on where you're at. Do that for us. I'd really appreciate it. The algorithm loves it. So we want the algorithm to love us. Today we're here with another contractor out of the DFW, Michael Doc Rannigan. How are you, brother?
Hey, I can't complain. Today's Thursday. We like to call Thursdays $1,000 Thursdays because we already made it past Money Making Monday.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, Doc, how did you get into roofing and start Doc's Roofing down there in the DFW?
Man, I'm going to tell you what, my story is probably as different as everybody else's. I have another business prior to this roofing company that I was in. I'll do a little shameless plug. It's called USA Mobile Drug Testing, which is a DOT safety and compliance company. I have about 15 years in the medical industry. During that, the first couple of years of creating that company, I still needed to pay bills, right? And so as an entrepreneur, money may stop coming in, but the bills didn't, right? And so my oldest brother asked me if I wanted to do some canvassing, door knocking, so on and so forth. I was like, sure, let's do it. Big hailstorm hit the area in 2014. We went and did it. I got a shit ton of contracts signed up, closed down, went to the owner of the company. I'm like, yo, pay me. He's like, yo, I got to go to Arizona, do some shit. Next thing I know, I got burned on $20K. Same story everybody gets as to why they want to start their own business. So I got pretty frustrated, waited about 2 years. A hailstorm hit the city I live in. And my wife was the one who really encouraged me to take the leap into the industry. She was like, Mike, you know how well you did in 2014. Why can't you do the same? I had a couple of friends and family members that kind of got burnt by contractors. You know, we call them Pete in a pickup, Chuck in a truck, right? And so she's like, I really think you'll be a good addition into this industry because of my military background, right? We have some really strong core values. Our ethics are rarely swayed upon. And so I said, you know what? I'll take a stab at it. And here I am 8 years later, still in the industry, still making great strides in the industry, and have grown tremendously over the last, 6-7 years.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And you still have the testing business at the same time? You run two businesses Absolutely. At the same time?
Well, yeah. the other company's on autopilot, right? Okay. So I managed to get that company to a position where I hired the right people, put the right people in the right seat on the right bus. Mm-hmm. And so there's 3 people that facilitate that company. It's on autopilot. I pay my staff extremely well. I take my dividend checks once a quarter, and like it's really the craziest. Everybody called me insane for even getting into that company and industry. I was an automatic failure, and that just drove me. Yeah. And so here I am. I opened that company in 2011. We're coming up on 2023, so 10, 11, 12 years in the making with that company. And I know it's not about that company, but I can tell you a shit ton of trials and errors and just mistakes that I've overcome, adapted through. And so I was really good at business to business sales. And I said, if I can do business to business and convince somebody to change their safety program, I'm pretty sure I can take care of homeowners when it comes to replacing their roof.
So on the roofing side, you're focused more on the residential direct to consumer, dealing with the homeowners?
Primarily, when I got into the industry, I named my company Doc's Residential Roofing. So people would know that that's what I am. I am the expert in the residential field. But like anything, as we continue to grow and the opportunities arose to learn about the commercial sector, obviously I took advantage of that. Is my primary focus on the commercial side? Absolutely not. It is a very cutthroat side of the house. If you know a guy, you're in. If you don't know a guy, you're out. And so I'm actually installing a 182 square commercial roof this week. So I went by there today, checked everything. Everything's moving nice and smoothly. And so I've made some really good relationships. And I now see that the commercial side of the sector is beginning to gain some traction.
Yeah. And we talked about that when we first spoke about that, is like you really focus on relationships. Speak to that a little bit.
Relationships are key, right? Because if I'm looking to pay my bills off of every single client, then I'm not going to do the best job, period. And so I believe if I build a relationship with a client, the odds of them referring me to somebody down the road is going to be in my favor. So if I treat a client like a number, well, then they're going to feel like a number. And so we take a lot of pride in the relationship with that client. I'm not a fly-by-night roofer. You get to meet my team, my staff, starting with the owner down to the installer. I'm on site during the roof install. Do I stay there all day? Absolutely not. I'm 8 years in, so I have that privilege, right? But I do ensure that my project manager stays there all day long, whereas some of these other companies out there, you roll by and it's just a crews doing what they do. Nobody's managing those guys. Nobody's making sure that the front yards are clean, right? So that relationship, it's not only with that homeowner, but that stems to the neighbors as well, right? I want neighbors to drive by my job site and go, wow, that's a really clean job site. Wow, they did the extra mile by putting plywood up over their windows and tarps over their landscape and over their swimming pool. And so that's why the relationship is so key, because I do what I say I'm going to do. I don't sway on value. I don't waive deductibles, right? And whenever I build that new relationship, it's easier for them to say, it's easier for me to go, hey, can you give me some referrals? Mm-hmm. And that's why relationships are key. I don't buy leads.
Yeah. And so really you've really built up a referral-based sales process or marketing and sales process, right? I would say so. And you've done that through doing the right thing, right? Through doing the right thing, through a good customer experience. And then you mentioned something else there, and I believe it's very impactful, and that is all of the best contractors I know are good at turning one into many.
That's right.
Right, like that seems like the thread that binds all of the good contractors, like all of the successful contractors. That is the ability to turn one customer into many, and a lot of times that is with the neighborhood. I had a podcast episode many podcast episodes ago with the owner of Roden Roofing in Wichita, Kansas, John Roden. And I remember something that he said on it, and it was that on production day, when they're building that roof, they're putting on a show for the neighborhood.
That is correct.
Right? And I was like, yeah, right? That's a different mindset. So maybe speak to some of these mindset shifts that you see that, they're little things, but they make a big impact.
So first and foremost, about 7 years ago, I came up with a kind of a motto: change your mindset, change your playground, right? If I am tired of where I'm standing, move to the left, move to the right, right? And everybody has a story. Everybody has a woe is me story. But the difference is do I get into the woe is me mentality, or do I get into the opportunity mentality? And so whenever you're out there and you're building those relationships, we are looking for the next opportunity. I am always continuously thinking 5 steps ahead, right? And that's where the mindset shift begins, right? I love playing chess. Okay. I know that may sound crazy, but I enjoy playing the game of chess. And if you understand the game of chess, it's designed for you to think 3 to 5 steps ahead of the opponent that you're dealing with, right? And so by me having that thought process, I say, if I do this, this subsequently will happen. And like you stated, John Roden, when I put a roof on in the neighborhood, I'm not putting a roof on. I'm putting on a presentation, right? Because I'm pulling out my pop-up tent with my brand on it. I got a table set up. I have water for the crew. Like, it's a show. I got big flags out there. So, because you know why? Because I'm doing the right thing. I'm not cutting corners. So you find those contractors that you can't find, and all that's there is the crew, no sign in their yard. That's a red flag to me. Why aren't you proud to be doing what you're doing, to be servicing your client, to be an active member of your community, right? You should be shouting from the heavens, this is what I'm doing, folks, come look at me. And I go out to my job sites and I'll go live on social media. Hey, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. Come check me out, right? I'm an open book. If you think I'm doing something wrong, come to my job site and tell me I'm doing something wrong, because I don't have anything to hide. And that's what people see when they go to my website, when they go to our social media platforms. They see us doing the work. They know our expectations, and they know what to expect when they hire us as their contractor.
And that's really it's really powerful in brand messaging. And I don't know if you've done it consciously or just done it, but you know, when we think about that homeowner and who they want to choose as their contractor, it's almost like choosing a doctor, right? And I know you do this in a little bit of your brand messaging too, but like, it's almost like choosing a doctor, where you want a highly experienced, trustworthy person to be taking care of you. And in all of the things that you express in your social media, in the way that, while you're building that roof, all of those things are expressing that expertise and trustworthiness, right?
That is correct, right? So the image that is portrayed is the reality that you get, right? And if anybody wants to check out docsroofing.net, the very first video on there is a video about me, who I am, what I'm about, and our process. So I want the client to get to know me before they ever even call me, so that they understand that what their expectations are. If they see me and they watch my video and they called me for a reason. They called me because they've done their research. And that's what a lot of contractors, I feel, today are missing. Like, we are in the age of information. If I want to choose a reliable contractor, I'm hitting Google, I'm hitting the Better Business Bureau, I'm hitting Yelp, I'm hitting all of these areas that have some sort of feedback on who that person is and what that contractor is about.
Yeah.
Hell, you can even run a background check on somebody just by their name. You know what I mean? And so that's another advantage that we have, is that all of my people are background checked. Right? So there's peace of mind that I have to provide to the homeowner, because not only am I going inside your home, I'm on your property. Wouldn't you like to know who's coming inside your house? So if we say, hey, look, we've already taken the incentive to do background checks, well, then you already know we got IDs, right, when we show up. So we just do some things a little bit different than most, and that's why we have our catchphrases. We're not your average roofer. Right?
Yep.
And people are like, well, how are you not average? I was like, because we don't cut corners. We do what we say we're going to do. We believe that integrity over profit. I know that's kind of an overutilized kind of a phrase, but it's facts. I'm willing to give unconditionally in order to satisfy the client's needs before I make a $10, $15, $5,000 profit on somebody, right? Purchasing your home is the largest purchase most humans will ever make in their life. So why shortchange yourself when you replace your roof? It's covering your head. It's covering all your valuables, your possession, your family. Why do you want to cut corners on it?
It's amazing how many do.
It is definitely.
Isn't it? Like
It
that,
is.
I just thought of that as you said that. I'm like, man, it's amazing how many do and how many will hire, Chuck in a truck and those guys that, the deductible eating contractors down there in the DFW. But back to what you were talking about there a little bit is people can do the research, right? I think that I was reading something recently. It's like 70% of the buying decision these days is done before they even call you.
Yep, that's correct.
To me, though, you guys are in a market where, door to door is the most prevalent form of.
We don't canvas.
Of marketing. It's sales. It's direct sales. It's not marketing. So how do you manage that?
We don't canvas
At all. Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase that. Okay. So the day I'm doing the roof install,
yep,
we actually inform the neighbors, hey, yep, I'm not here to pitch you. I'm here to tell you that trash may end up in your yard. Will you give me access? Right? Yeah. Because if I knock on your door, you already know that you need a roof. I'm not here to tell you something you don't already know. So instead of saying, hey, let me check your roof out. Hey, I'm just here letting you know I'm next door. Trash will get into your yard. Can I have access? And when you go there with the giving heart, yeah, I just want to give you that I'm here not to make your property look good because I know it's my fault. And then you have a whole different tone from that homeowner. They're like, what? You're not going to pitch me? No, I'm not going to pitch you. I said, why do I need to pitch you? I said, that's what we're doing. If you want somebody that's going to do it right, my sign's in the yard. You can call me. Right? Yep. I said, I don't need to pitch you. I'm not hunting for you. People are finding me on my own accord. Those that are out there begging for business, there's a reason, right? They haven't done proper branding. They haven't done proper marketing. They haven't built the proper relationships over a period of time. So now don't get me wrong. When I first got into the industry and I was solo, absolutely, I busted my ass out there canvassing doors, knocking doors, and I think everybody out there should do it because that is the nature of the beast. Now, after you've built your relationships and you've gotten to 4 or 5 years under your belt, you should have already built such a brand that people are now calling you, right? Yeah. And so even my new guys that I hire, I tell them, my goal is you have to talk to 100 people a week. I don't care how you talk to them. Right? And they look at me and they go, Mike, that's a daunting task. I'm like, is it? I said, let's do the math. 7 into 100 is roughly 14, right? It's 14, right? 7 times 4. I don't know. I'm not a big math
around
guy.
There. Yeah.
So if you do that, and so if you divide that 14, that's 14 people a day. You divide that by 12 hours, that's literally 1.5 persons per hour. Yeah. If you mean to tell me you can't talk to one person an hour, what are you doing with your life, right? And so when you break down those large numbers into a realistic number, then it doesn't seem such as a daunting task. And so when I tell them that, I said, you guys realizing canvassing doesn't mean to door knock. Canvassing means to be able to talk to people at any given time, regardless of where you're at. Right? Because I'm canvassing. If I'm at the grocery store and I see somebody, I'm going to strike up a conversation with them. Hey, man, how you doing? Can you believe this crap? Man, I can't believe it. I said, yeah, man, I'm in the process of getting a new roof right now, man. Have you been through this process? Right? They have no idea I'm a roofer. Uh-huh. You see what I'm saying? And they're like, yeah, man, we're all these damn roofers. Well, man, allow me to this is who I'm using. Right? And I give them my business card. I say, give these people a call. They're great people. Right? Because I'm not trying to earn their business. I'm trying to build a relationship. Right? They say, they call me. Hey, this Mike. Hey, man, I met this guy at Walmart. He says you guys were a great roofing company. Absolutely. Let's set the appointment. 90% of the time, they don't even remember my face. Yeah. Right? So then I show up at their home. They're like, are you that? I said, I am that guy. He's like, man, you're smooth. I was like, because nobody wants to be pitched.
No one wants to be sold.
Nobody wants to be pitched. They just want somebody to give a shit and talk to. Yeah. Nobody wants the pitchy guy. So I don't pitch. I find other ways to get in front of them by being approachable, by being personable, by being a human. right? I can't tell you how many clients I've gotten from Costco and from the gas station and from just the run of the mill day. But if you are not willing to get out of your comfort zone, well, then you're going to stay stagnant.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody wants to answer the door. They don't know if it's some creeper knocking on their door. They don't know if it's a home invasion. They don't know if it's the next solar dude trying to finagle them into selling solar or landscaping, right? They just don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you don't want to be bothered at home, where can I bother you at? I can bother you at the grocery store. I can bother you at the gas station. I can bother you at church. I can bother you at a networking event. I can go and meet real estate agents, insurance agents, right? You can be a part of your community and go to community events, right? So there's so many other ways to be able to canvas versus door knocking.
I love that. That's awesome, man. And really it is, you got to open your mouth, right? Like that's one of the things that it blows me away, especially with a lot of business owners that are early on. And maybe it's a lack of confidence in their ability to execute. Because I think that in your early stages of business, sometimes you have that, right? Like there is there's some, well, can I really take all this on? Can I really do a good job? But if you really believe that you're the right company to work with, then you better let everyone know what you do.
Except for friends and family. Don't let them.
Accept them. Not
friends and family. Let your friends and family know that you're going into business for yourself. They are your biggest haters. They are the ones that are destined to see you fail. They're the ones that are jealous, hateful, and prideful, right? So, and I say that, and we joke about it, but the facts remain, right? And I will tell you something that I had to learn the hard way. The person that you're going to have the largest headache with is the one you gave away the most shit to. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know. I thought of 3 people.
Client, and, right? You're like, damn, right? You got that client. You're like, yeah, man, I'm going to upgrade you class 4 shingle. I'm going to paint your house. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And then you get down, hey, man, pay me. Ooh, about that. Did you see this right here? I'm like, bro, I just painted your entire home for free. Like, now you're going to nitpick me on a tree branch that's in your yard that I didn't do. You know what I mean? So it's very, and so now I just stick to my values. And I'll tell you a quick story. I met a gentleman the other day who called me, asked him how you found me. I thought, man, I got you from Google. You got minute reviews, watch your website. You're a really great person. You got integrity. I was like, cool, I'll beat you up, set the appointment. Went over to his home. Hey man, I got a $10,000 deductible. I don't want to pay it. I said, cool, neither do I. And he's like, what? I said, I don't want to pay it either. I don't have $10,000. He goes, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, we accept check, cash, credit card, and I can offer you financing. He goes, no, man, you didn't hear me. I don't want to pay it. And I said, well, cool, call your insurance company. Tell them to give it back to you. He goes, I can do that? I said, I don't know. Call them. Tell them you don't want to pay it. See what they tell you. I said, it's called insurance fraud. I'm not willing to sacrifice my company because you chose a 2% deductible or a 1% deductible, or you live in $1 million home and you can't afford that lifestyle. That's not my problem. So he calls me back. He goes, hey, Mike, I found another contractor that'll do it. I said, cool. Don't call me when your roof leaks. You know? And so it's just something that I had to learn the hard way. And I get it. People that are fresh into this industry, they don't want to lose a client over a deductible. They don't want to lose that client. So they're willing to do whatever it takes to be able to gain traction, to build those relationships, to build that brand in the marketing. And so they're willing to circumvent certain things in order to get established. And so I get it. It's tough out here, folks. This is not an easy industry to play in. And if you think it is, well, then come on down to Texas, man. It's just the wild, wild west, you know. I think we have, close to 10,000 roofing contractors in Texas. And so there's a lot of people to choose from, a lot of competition. But at the end of the day, my largest competition is myself.
It is a lot of times, right? Back to that person, though, when you do make those when you do pull back and do those things and eat that deductible to make that client, to keep that client, and to do those types of things, when they refer you, that's what they tell their friend or family member.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, call these guys. They'll commit a felony for you.
Yeah, and I don't want that to be my brand. Yeah, call Doc,
Right.
man. He said he'll paint your whole house and eat your deductible and do anything you want, so he can make $200.
Come over, mow the lawn.
Yeah,
I'll
feed your pig. You know what I mean? It's just insane. But so I decided, you know what I mean? When they enacted that law in 2019, I was so happy, and I put it in big bold print on my contract. We do not do insurance fraud. This is the insurance law. And homeowners are like, are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. But the way I've countered that, and I said, look, your deductible money is not going in my pocket. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to use your deductible money to give you a better product, to add value to your home, to get you a premium insurance discount. I'll take you from a 3-tab to an architectural shingle. I'll get you seamless gutters. I'll put leaf guards on. I'll put ridge vent, right? I'm willing to use your money to add value back to your home so you get it down the road. So a lot of people get stuck in the here and now and fail to think about tomorrow, right? And they think that tomorrow never comes, right? So I have to help train my clients on how to future think, right? What you're investing in today will have an impact on you 10 years from today. Because if you think you can't afford 10 grand today, wait till you get a shitty roof job and you're paying $20,000 to get it fixed, right? Or your insurance company comes out there and inspects the work and says, this isn't done right. Or your insurance company asks you for proof that you paid your deductible before they release your depreciation check. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do then? And the guy's like, that'll never happen. And so I showed him 5 emails from 5 different insurance companies that says, hey, Mr. Rannigan, please have your client proof of payment, blah, blah, blah. And I showed him, I said, look, you got to do it. And he's like, and I said, you know what? You're just not my client. And 9 times out of 10, I've had the client call me back and said, you know what? I'm going to go with you. Yeah. Because they realize that I'm there for them. I'm not there I'm there to make a profit, but I'm not there to pay my whole entire year's worth of bills off of one person either.
Yeah, for sure. How has that law, it's been a couple of years now. How is that going in Texas? Do you think it has made an impact?
I believe it has. And just like I stated, I'll have some of your more reputable insurance companies. They will contact the homeowner and or the contractor and ask for proof of payment, or they will not release the depreciation check. And I told this guy that, and I told this guy that, and he goes, well, I don't believe you. And I said, cool, don't believe me. Sign my contract for the full amount, and we'll see how it lands. He calls me up. He's like, Mike, they're not going to release my depreciation check until I pay you my deductible. He said, I know that. Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, I don't have it. And I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. I said, borrow it. I said, put it on credit card. And it was, in my brain, it wasn't a lot of money. It was like $2,000. Yeah. Right? It wasn't like, and he's like, well, I have to borrow it from a sister. I said, okay, dude, I don't know what to tell you. But you know the law. It's in your policy. It's on my contract. You agreed to it. Pay the piper. And I said, if you don't, I'll be more than happy to own your home for $2,000 with a lien.
Because it works that way.
And why should we be the ones that take the hit?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to eat my deductible when I do my roof.
Nope.
Will you, Jim?
No.
Damn.
I won't. But that's, and so it's a thing in dealing with homeowners though, right? Like, you have to prove yourself a lot of times that you have that integrity, right? And in drawing those lines in the sand and saying, hey, this is where we're at. This is what I have to do to have a healthy, successful business, to make sure I'm here to fix your problems, to make sure I don't go to jail for insurance fraud, right? There's a lot of things that I have to do on a day-to-day basis to make sure this thing keeps on moving. What other things are you doing in terms of customer experience?
So we will give them a gift at the end of the day, right? We have branded custom coolers that we give to them. We oftentimes, you know what I mean? We do drone videos that we prepare a portfolio, if you will, with pictures and drone videos that we give to our clients, right? And they seem to just love that, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because they want to
Yep.
see the process. And if I don't have anything to hide, then you know what I mean? Then why do I have any reason not to provide them with the photos and videos of how their roof project went? And so our customers really enjoy it. Other ways we've given back to our clients is maybe their son or daughter is on a football team. We'll be happy to sponsor that, right? So we have a big community involvement here in the city I live in, right? And that's where a lot of the homeowners see where their money that they've paid me went, right? So we donate to a lot of nonprofits. One being the Patriot Paws, which is a nonprofit that trains service dogs for amputee veterans, post-traumatic stress, PTSD, TBIs. Being a veteran, it's very near and dear to my heart. So we give a ton to not only the veteran community, but the Police Officers Association, the Firemen Association, and people often forget about those guys. I'm like, you guys realize that these police officers and these firemen see just as much, what's the word I'm looking for? Like bad shit, right?
Yeah.
Imagine seeing somebody burnt all the time. How is that going to resonate inside their brain when they sleep at night? And so we give back tremendously to those people. And that's one of the things that we show our clients. We're like, hey, your money is actually going to these people. And so that gives them a little paycheck to the heart where they know that the money that we're receiving doesn't just go and line my pockets. I don't drive a big jacked up truck. I don't, you know what I mean? I live a very humble lifestyle, very mediocre, and just because at the end of the day, Jim, guess what I can't take with me when I die?
All that stuff.
My jacked up truck. Can't do it, you know? And so you live with the life of the gifts of reciprocity, right? Givers gain. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around it. They're like, why do you do these things? And I'm like, because I'm trying to earn my spot in the place in the next life.
And it sounds like, you know, with your military background, that these are also causes that are very near and dear to your heart.
That's facts.
Right. So there's always, it's more impactful, right? When you get to do something that means something to you, and you know what I mean? And how did your military experience, how have you used that military experience in the business world?
Well, in the military, they teach good order and discipline, right? They teach processes and systems. They teach uniformity, right? They teach core values of honor, courage, and commitment, right? Being in the medical field, all right, so I was a combat trauma corpsman with the Marine Corps. Served over in Afghanistan in 2001 through 2002, served in Iraq from 02, 03, 04, right? And so you have to document appropriately when dealing with somebody's life, right? And so I just took those same core values, those same systems and processes that were instilled in me and said, how does that relate to a homeowner? How does that relate to my company? If I have good order and discipline, right? So if as a leader and I teach the sales reps underneath me and my crew and, you know, project manager, this is if you do steps 1 through 10, everything will go great. If you decide to skip a step, you're going to have a shit show on your hand. And then I'm going to have to come down and you know what I mean? Put foot to ass. But by having those systems and those processes and my team having the buy-in, right? That's so crucial that the company has team buy-in on the same vision that I'm trying to project out into the community. If I don't have buy-in from my team, then I have nothing. If I have a culture that is sour, then I have nothing. So I really try to have a strong culture, a strong buy-in from the team to where we all share the same vision. And one of our visions this year was to break, $3 million in sales. And of that $3 million, I wanted to be able to donate $50,000 back into nonprofits. And I was like, does everybody agree to that? And I said, look, if you have somebody that that has a nonprofit, let me know. Let's research them. Let's see who they are, what they're about. Then let's take a vote as a team that where are we going to allocate these funds to? So when you involve your team and the people a part of your company, it's no longer a Michael mindset. It is a team environment, and everybody's willing to put in that extra bit of work because we're all after the exact same goal, because we're all going to get the same reward back in when it's all said and done.
For sure. And it's, how have you, I guess, developed that culture? Like what are some of the things that you've done to develop that?
So we do team building skills. Like I took them out to a what's called Jungle Track. No, it's not. It was called Go Ape, right? And that's where we went. We climbed insane walls. We did zip lining. We did trust falls, right? And then I'll say, hey, so tomorrow's one of our a big team meeting for us. And I'll give everybody a notepad, and I tell everybody, give me 3 things that you don't like about the company, 3 things that you do like. I want everybody's input, right? Because if I don't know what my team's likes and dislikes are, then I can't improve as a leader. I can't improve as an owner if everybody's got these animosities that I'm not aware of, right? So I continuously ask for feedback. One of those ways that we get that feedback is through a scorecard system. Right? So part of our process is, did you canvas X amount this week? Did you meet X amount of realtors this week? Did you go to X amount of networking team meetings, brand building opportunities? What was your close ratio? You're right. So then I put that on the scorecard, right? And I track that every single month. Hey, this is where you're at in August. This is where you're at, you know what I mean, in October. Mm-hmm. Why did you do so well here but didn't do so well there? Oh, man, yeah, that week, man, my mom got super sick. My wife got super sick. I was at home with the kids, right? So usually it's a personal problem that occurred that allowed those numbers to falter, or it was complacency. Mm. You got that big check. Right? You closed 5 contracts the month before. You got paid out on 5 contracts. You just made 20 G's. Shit, you're fat, dumb, and happy. So you got complacent. The problem is you spent that $20,000 as fast as you earned it. And at the end of the day, $20,000 isn't shit over 12 months. Right? And I tell them that. I said, my goal is to make every one of you 6 figures this year. I want every one of you guys to put $100,000 in your pocket. Well, who doesn't want to buy into that? But then where the buy-in gets tough at, you got to do this to get it. Yeah. And we reverse engineer that process to show them how that it becomes attainable. And we do that by setting what we call SMART goals, right? You've heard of that before. Everybody's heard what a SMART goal is. And once you begin to understand what goal setting really is, goal setting is just a pathway to achieve your desired result that you want. And what does everybody want, Jim?
Freedom,
right? Financial freedom. I want to wake up and say, I don't have any worries or concerns about money, right? Because what is the only thing we can't ever get back?
Time.
Is our time, right? So I want financial freedom so that I can buy my time back to spend with my family, my loved ones, community, so on and so forth. And oftentimes I need people to look at money as a tool, not as a goal. Mm-hmm. I don't want money to be your goal. I want your goal to be larger than money. And you can get people to buy into that. And if they can't buy into it, then I don't want them part of our team, because the old saying is, right, one bad apple ruins a bushel, or some shit like that. And that's facts. So if I got one person who's a Debbie Downer, right? And a freaking, what do they call them now? Karens or some shit, right? Right. I still call them Debbie Downers, right? I don't want them on the team because it's contagious. And so I have an environment that's full of optimism, right? I am a huge optimistic individual, and you almost have to be in order to be a business owner. right? And so I try to breed optimism into our culture. And when you continuously see these people's minds start to shift ever so little bit, right? Because I tell them, if you can do 1% better for an entire year, what is the percentage on that?
365% better.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be 365% better? And even if you even only reach half of that, fuck, your life is going to change dramatically.
A tenth, 100th of that for most people, man.
Yeah. If you can change and be 30% better than you were on January 1 compared to December 1, if you're 30% better than who you are from the beginning of the year, you've made drastic positive changes, not only within your bank account, but your relationship with your wife, husband, father, mother, right? You're a better person all the way around when you begin to invest in yourself and give freely to others and don't expect shit back in return.
Yeah. How have you, we talked about, you're setting SMART goals with your team, setting goals. How I always feel that there can always be a misalignment with company goals and the reps goals.
Right.
Right. And how have you managed that?
Because our sales reps goal should have directly aligned with the company goal.
Yeah.
And so that's why we do those scorecards, right? That's why I take the time out and have those one-on-ones with my team. Because if their personal goals aren't aligning with the company goal, then is my company goal wrong? Right?
That's the question, right? Is your company goal wrong, or do you need more people, or it provides an insight at least, right? At the very least, it shows you something about your business,
right? And oftentimes, the person is so new into this sales role or this industry that they really don't fully understand what their goal is. All they know is somebody told them that you can be a millionaire in the roofing industry. What they failed to tell them was how hard it was to make it. You know what I mean? This isn't a fly-by-night industry. This is dedication, blood, sweat, tears, loss. How much money I've lost hanging out in this dumbass industry. You know what I mean? But are you willing to take the loss to be able to gain the big wins? You know, and that's how I have to train my guys. And as cliche as it may sound, there's what they call 7 habits of highly effective people, right?
Yep.
And those 7 habits, one of those 7 habits is to begin with the end in mind. And that's how I train my guys to set goals. When you set your goal, what is the end result you're trying to attain? Right? And so we have them, I ask them some really tough questions. I'm like, tell me more. Get a little bit deeper. That's not defined enough. Let's go a little bit deeper into that goal. Why do you really want $1 million? Oh, I want $1 million just so I can live happy. Okay, cool. What does happy look like to you? Right? And when you start really diving in and deep dive into these questions, it was never the money that they were chasing in the first place. A means is just a tool to get to your end result, which is freedom, happiness, joy, right? Happy, joyous, and free. That's all we want.
We always think, and a dollar amount is arbitrary when you don't know what it really means, right? Like you could say $1 million, but it's the why behind that $1 million is a much different thing.
That's right.
And then sometimes, and I see this with owners and in reps, I've talked to a lot of owners and reps around this, is that, and I'll credit Nathan Thibodeau from Contractor Coach Pro on this one. We had a good conversation about this one time where we're talking about that a lot of times when you start running those numbers out, as an owner, I want a $10 million roofing company. I want a $50 million roofing company. I want a $5 million roofing company. Whatever that goal is, a lot of times that number is arbitrary in terms of it doesn't match what you really want in life.
Mm-hmm.
right? And with reps too, right? I want this. Well, why? Those whys are a whole different thing. And sometimes you can realize, oh no, maybe I don't want that. That's 80 hours a week. I'm trying to buy my time back, right?
Yeah. Have you ever done the time bucket challenge?
I haven't, no.
Right, and it's basically split up into four quadrants. You have your $10 an hour bucket, your $100 an hour bucket, your $1,000 an hour bucket, and your $10,000 an hour bucket. Where are you spending your time at?
Yeah.
And when you start really looking at it, you start to say, "Wow, I'm really spending a lot of time in these $10 an hour things." Well, shit, maybe I should be delegating then.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to learn this the hard way. What is my value?
Yeah.
Am I a $100 person? I don't think so. Am I a $1,000 an hour person? Yeah, I'm feeling that. Cool. What do $1,000 an hour people do? Oh, they go out and they shake hands with the right people. They go and get more education. They go and build new relationships with people they never thought they would ever build a relationship. Hell, they jump on a podcast with somebody in order to pick their brain and have them pick my brain to see if I can expand on how I can become a better person, right? Whereas your $10 an hour people are begging, borrowing, stealing. Oh, I'll waive that deductible. Oh, I'll do that. Oh, I'll do that. And never follow through on their commitment. That is a $10 an hour individual.
For sure.
Or they're afraid to delegate. One of the two.
That's one thing. Like I think that there's always there's a weird fear inside of a lot of business owners about control, right? And instead of learning how to pass on your knowledge and how to pass on the way that you want things done and develop systems and processes, they revert back to I just won't do that. I'll just do it myself.
Yep.
Have you ever fallen into that trap?
Oh, absolutely. If you want it done right, I'll just do it. Or if I want to get it done in a certain time frame, I'll just do it. Don't worry, I got it. And it's because of the way we're wired, right? Yeah. It's the way alpha-centric individuals are hardwired, right? Typically, we're ADD, right? Typically, if I see something shiny, I'm going that direction. Typically, we want to get it done, so we just do it ourselves because we want to meet that deadline. But when I took a step back and I did the time bucket challenge, and I said, was that really worth my time? How much time did I lose? And when I started to better understand the value of time, I was like, you know what? I don't need to satisfy everybody I come into contact with. Not everybody is my ideal client. Not everyone is appeasable. At the end of the day, you just can't make everybody happy. And whenever I started just cutting and saying, oh, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with you. My profit margins went up. My mistakes went down. Mm-hmm. My system began to work better because I'm not bringing in and sifting through all this bullshit and all this trash of trying to make everybody happy. When at the end of the day, I'm just here to provide you a service that to the best of my ability with a top quality product and increase value to your property. If that's not what you're looking for, well, then I'm not your contractor.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think the greatest insight is that you could share with our audience that's helped you find success in your roofing business?
Being willing to ask for help.
Expand on that.
Because when you get into the industry, you don't know everything.
Yeah.
Right? So stay humble. Be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Ask those that came before you for help. There's nothing wrong with it. Right? But we go into this industry with this bravado mentality, this machismo. Oh, I got it. I can do it. You don't know. I'm here. I'll carry those shingles to the top of the roof my damn self. Right? So when I became willing to get out of my own way and ask for help, and I'm not asking for a hand out, I'm asking for a hand up. Right? How can I be better? And whenever I set my pride and ego to the side and became willing to ask for help and say, how can I do this better? Is there an easier, softer way? Right? That's when I began to make really great strides in this industry, is when I shed the bullshit, this machismo, this bravado attitude of I'm bigger and better than everybody. Well, no, you're not, bro. Guess what? Jim puts his pants on one leg at a time, just like I do. So we're equals in this world, because at the end of the day, Jim, I came into this world with zero and I will leave this world with zero. So what is the point of trying to be the biggest, baddest guy out there when all we really need to do is be unified and create an industry that's for the betterment of all of our clients?
For sure, man. That's awesome. Thanks, Doc. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you would like to generate more revenue through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com to get a copy of the book, The Best Known Roofer. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. Thanks for listening.